The government just casually allowed the words Greys, Nordics, Reptilians, and Insectoids to enter the UFO mainstream conversation right now. And people have no idea how deep this really goes. Because according to many experiencers, whistleblowers, esoteric traditions, these just aren't simply aliens from another planet. These are interdimensional beings. You currently live on planet Earth. We are located in the third dimension. These other dimensional beings are from higher dimensions. The Earth itself is a protected evolutionary realm, the third dimension, almost like a spiritual school, but for consciousness development. Our planet is also quarantined energetically, meaning that not every entity can freely enter in this dimension or leave this dimension unless there is permission or access that is granted through higher level cosmic cycles, portals, or stargates. And now suddenly they are just naming 4 of the main categories that people have talked about for decades. Let's start with the Greys. This is probably the most recognized being in the UFO conversation. So they have smaller bodies, between 3 to 4 feet tall, larger black eyes. Usually they're almond shaped. They are extremely telepathic. Actually, that's the only way they speak to you is through telepathy. And many of these Greys are biological, or they are AI, or they're engineered worker beings, really, with little to no emotional capacity. So these guys, they carry out assignments involving genetics, observation, technological operations, and that's why so many experiencers describe them as being cold and robotic and detached. But other people, they claim that there are biological Greys too, and there are. They come in all different shapes, size, forms, colors, textures, all of that. Beings that have souls involved in them, but they reached a certain capacity in their dimensional evolution where they cannot go further. So they time travel back to where that DNA coding comes in, and it's on planet Earth. And so they have to reconfigure how their soul expands in an evolutionary process. So there's something significant going on with the timelines here on Earth, and they know that, and that's why they are here specifically. Some of these biological Greys do possess a soul consciousness and an individuality. So there are many factions with different forms. If you want to learn more about the Greys, let me know in the comments. Then you have these Nordic beings. So these are tall humanoid beings, described usually between like 7 to 9 feet tall. They're very, very tall. Muscular features, especially like jawbones. You'll be able to tell who they are, but they do hide in remote locations. So they are in Sweden and around these type of areas where there's not so much access to them. But they are human-like in appearance. Many of the interdimensional beings are human-like. They're star-shaped form, so a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, bipedal, usually standing upright, but they're far more advanced spiritually and energetically, and there are different types of Nordics as well. So they're associated, again, with telepathy. This is how they communicate in higher dimensional realms. Also, they have higher consciousness. They are guidance beings for planet Earth whenever it's ready. But many experiencers here claim that Nordics communicate through frequency and consciousness rather than any type of spoken language. Some of these Nordics have these pink-red eyes, and that's just because of their age. You can tell if they have the pink-red eyes, they're a lot older than the newer aged ones with bluer eyes. And these are not to be mistaken with Pleiadians, because they all come from different star systems. Just because they're blonde and they're tall and they're beautiful doesn't mean that they're 100% Pleiadian. They do have genetics. They're technically part human because we hold part of their DNA, literally. So these are your ancestors, but some of these again are benevolent and some of them are malevolent. And then there are reptilians. Now this is where the rabbit hole gets extremely controversial. Ancient cultures all over the world describe serpent beings, dragon gods, underground civilizations, reptilian intelligences long before any type of modern UFO culture existed. So some theories claim there are different reptilian groups, including, of course, Alpha Draconian lineages. That's the most terrifying one that you can come in contact with, but they are not here on Earth. But there are Earth-based reptilian species that have existed here before humanity was even seeded onto the planet. And some of these reptilian factions still operate underground and with access to high politicians, the cabal, celebrities, and they survive through dense energetic frequencies that are tied to fear and chaos and suffering and survival energy. These are interdimensional beings. They don't consume food like we do, although they do consume flesh and blood, but they consume the frequency. That keeps them alive. So they're often associated with extremely powerful psionic and psychic abilities, including mind influence, energetic manipulation, and consciousness control. Now, these reptilians are between 6 to 8 feet tall. They're not as tall as Alpha Draconian reptilians. Those can be between 10 to 14 feet, sometimes even larger. But they are known to have these scaled, kind of tough exterior. They come in different colors again. They have very sharp facial structures and kind of a smell that comes around them, and a really strong jawline. Now, some of these reptilians do use technology to mask their appearance, but you can use frequencies and sound to kind of disrupt that, and you can see exactly who is a reptilian imposter and who is not. But again, not all reptilians are bad. And then there are the Mantis and Insectoid beings. Now, they're all different. Many experience them as being very highly intelligent overseers. They're connected to healing work, consciousness work. They have like this surgery-like energetic procedures that they do, and they have this advanced understanding of the human mind and soul architecture at the same time. So a lot of people believe that they work with frequencies, energy grids, dimensional mechanisms that are far beyond the human comprehension. So these guys really work with energy fields, the human evolution. That's what they study. They study the DNA. They perform energy surgeries and consciousness recalibrations. I'm just so surprised that they're putting this in the mainstream media, but I guess that means it's fair game. But here's one point that a lot of people are starting to miss, because none of these categories are supposedly just one species. There are benevolent factions, there are malevolent factions, there are neutral observers here, and there are thousands of different species, not just 4. Okay, so these are the discussions that are suddenly just being pushed into the mainstream media right now, which is crazy. But maybe humanity is being slowly prepared for the idea that reality is so much bigger and stranger and more multidimensional than we were ever taught. And the question here is really, why are they finally talking about that now? I'm Sarah Starr, your galactic guide, here to help you remember who you truly are and why you're here on Earth. If you want me to dive deeper into the Greys, the Reptilians, the Nordics, or the Insectoid Mantis beings, let me know in the comments.